It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is Conduit News Radio. This is Josh Waters in for Paul Harrell today. Right now on the show, we've been talking about a little bit in the first hour about Pope County, what's going on there with the casino issue. Just kind of preview that a little bit. Basically, what's happened is the current county judge, Jim Ed Gibson, has issued a letter saying if a license issue for a casino in Pope County, Arkansas, if there's one issued, I give my support for Gulfside Casino Partnership. Well, the citizens of Pope County passed an ordinance saying, hey, before a letter of support kind of goes out, we want to be able to vote on it and to vote on this casino issue. So right now we have attorney Anna Steerich. She was on the show a few weeks ago detailing this issue, and we wanted to get her back on to let us know kind of what's going on now, what's the legal aspects of this, and where do we go from here. So welcome back, Anna, and just kind of get us up to speed. What happened yesterday, and where are we on this casino issue there in Pope County?
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, a lot happened yesterday. So towards the morning, rumors started to swirl around that Judge Jim Ed Gibson was considering writing this letter of support in violation of the Pope County ordinance. So a lot of people just called him up and asked him, and he refused to state what his intentions were, or hinted that it was already done, or hinted that he, was just going to, make it up as he went along. By mid-afternoon, it had become obvious that he had written a letter of support because he told somebody that he had, and we got a hold of a copy of it around 4 p.m. But prior to that, because of all the rumors swirling and because of things that Judge Gibson had said, we went ahead and filed an injunction asking a court to forbid him from writing such a letter. We got that filed, but when we took it to judges, all four judges in Pope County in the 5th Judicial District refused themselves from that, which is understandable. They all work in the same courthouse. So currently the lawsuit's filed. The order has not been signed by a judge. We'll be filing an amended complaint today, since the letter has actually surfaced, asking for the court to set that aside through a writ of certiorari or writ of mandamus. So that's where we are legally, and there'll be further filings today, and hopefully will be assigned to a special justice by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, which is what happens when all your judges recuse themselves.
Okay. So basically what's happened, sounds like to me, is, I'm looking at the letter here. It was dated December 21st. So
right.
sometime last week, and yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, December 21st was a big day for casino happenings because we had a meeting, there was a meeting, I should say, of the Arkansas Valley Alliance for Economic Development, which is a public-private partnership in Pope County. There are public representatives that sit on that committee and private citizens who pay for a spot on that committee. That committee had a surprise emergency meeting at 7:30 in the morning. It was not publicly announced in any way that I heard of, in which 4 members, some of whom sit on the quorum court, proposed that they would encourage the judge to write this letter before he left office, even though we have this valid ordinance in place saying exactly that he can't do that without a public election. So Judge Skelton, Roy Reeves, John Bates, Will Wetzel, this was reported afterwards, asked for this alliance committee to do that resolution. Several of them, not those people, other alliance members were like, what? That's what this meeting is for? And they called for it to be adjourned. And it did adjourn without that activity happening. However, that's the same day that that letter is dated. So apparently that was maybe some concerted action between all of them, maybe trying to give them each other some cover. I don't know. I wasn't behind closed doors, but the letter's dated the same day that those 4 men stepped forward and publicly stated their desire for the judge to override our ordinance.
Interesting. We're talking about in the first hour. Basically, what this seems like to me is the will of the people of Polk County seems clear on this issue. Y'all issued an ordinance saying, you can't issue one of these letters before a vote. The people voted against the amendment. A majority of the county did. They elected a new county judge and a new mayor who, to my knowledge, they ran came out in opposition to the casino. in Polk County. And yet just days before this outgoing county judge is to leave office, it seems like someone's whispering in his ear, maybe someone with the possible financial gain from these casinos, saying, hey, we really want this here.
Well, you have to ask why he would do something so clearly in violation of what his constituents desire. They've made their wishes very clear through, positive political activity. We had a ballot petition for that ordinance. It wasn't like it just floated down in our laps and people just happened to check yes on it. That took a lot of work. There was a lot of political involvement getting that thing passed. And, on the face of it, a county judge should be doing what his county wants him to do, and he is doing 180 degrees the opposite.
Yeah, and, I found it interesting. This LLC he mentions in the letter, Gulfside Casino Partnership, LLC of Gulfport, Mississippi. When you look at the financial records for one of these committees that were set up to lobby in favor of the casino, they actually gave money, I think $10,000 or $50,000, looks like, to support a casino in Polk County. And just, a few months later, now the county judge is issuing a letter of support for this specific LLC.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They gave $50,000 to this group called Jobs for Polk County late in the game before the election. Earlier, they had donated, I think, $10,000, maybe to drive Arkansas forward. But yeah, it's a total of $60,000. It's pretty easy to imagine how you might want to connect those dots.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Something we always say is follow the money. So one thing that was interesting too, I was reading in this article from the Arkansas Times, was the Cherokee Nation has now gotten involved and issued a letter yesterday, basically saying, "Hey, wait up! We want to be the one that opens the casino. We want to work on that process."
Well, that's the thing. The initial state amendment contemplates this process where various casinos apply to a county for a license above board. They make proposals that people can evaluate on whether or not they like them. And so I think what the Cherokee are saying is that's what we, thought was going to happen. If y'all are going to issue a license, let us apply too. But none of that has happened. There's been no proposal brought forth. No one from Gulfside has made any kind of public statement that they're wanting to, build something here, that they're wanting to operate a casino here. Pine Bluff, bless their hearts, they want a casino. They've been very transparent about that process. The Quapaw have, had multiple months of discussions with county officials. It's been done publicly, openly. People can evaluate what Quapaw is contemplating bringing to the county. Nothing like that has happened in Polk County.
Yeah, that's just, in my opinion, that's just not good government. You want, like you're saying, you want an open, transparent process. And it's, it looks like the citizens of Polk County envisioned something like this very thing happening. And they said, no, we're not going to do it. So, Anna, what happens now? You mentioned a special justice will have to be appointed. So I know a legal question that was asked, I think, in a letter submitted to the AG was, well, what happens, with this letter when the new county judge comes in? Can he write the new county judge write a new letter saying, no, we rescind that letter?
That is a really good question. And our state senator, Breanne Davis, who represents part of Polk County or all of Polk County, I can't remember, brought up a lot of permutations in her letter to the Attorney General's office. Because honestly, the legislation that sets up this casino plan is it didn't go through the legislative process, so there's lots and lots of unanswered questions. There are questions that arise from the face of the amendment because it just says letter of support and it goes on. There's nothing that that would let you know how the letter of support is to be handled, who how long it's good for, how it can be rescinded, etc. So Breanne asked a lot of good questions in her Attorney General request. Now, those are not answered yet. So simultaneously, we've got the Arkansas Racing Commission working on rules that will hopefully answer some of these questions. But, these two things are going forward at the same time. There's got to be some clarity to this process in order for it not to be just like an insane, what we're seeing right now. We're behind closed doors. People are writing letters that, by the way, I was reading Max Brantley's article, I think it was his, where he says that close associates of Judge Gibson are trying to clarify that this is not actually a letter of support. Now, it may not have been that article. It may have been something from River Valley Now. But so, I mean, there's a further twist. Is this a letter of support or is it not? Maybe it's just a note, in which case does it have any legal effect whatsoever? Maybe it's a memo. I don't know. Yeah, because it does sound like Judge Gibson is trying to get the word out now. Hey, that's not actually a letter of support. Well, it's a letter, and it says, I would support this if the license were given, which, that's just nonsense because the amendment says you can't get a license without a letter of support. So, I mean, it kind of leaves the door open for all kinds of interpretation or misinterpretation. It's just not the way to go forward.
Well, if that's what he's, saying now and supporters are saying now, we'll just issue another letter saying in no way was that intended to be an issue letter of support,
Indeed, the door is wide open
Yeah.
for him to come forward with a public statement clarifying what, in fact, that piece of paper is supposed to be. So, I hope that he will do that out of respect for the people of Polk County that he's elected to help.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just mind-boggling in this day and age with, the amount of information, the FOIA law that's in place that, someone would try to do this and, maybe he'll come out with a letter and clear this up. But in the short term, this looks really, really bad. This looks bad. It's put a lot of limbo in the situation, and it looks like exactly what the people of Polk County didn't want to happen when they issued their voice on this ordinance.
That is fair to say. That ordinance passed with almost 70% of the vote. It was over 69% of the vote. The ordinance does one thing. It puts the power to make that letter support decision in the laps of Polk County voters. That is all it does. And it specifically and explicitly says, county judge can't give that letter until we've had a general or special election where voters can weigh in on that question. And for him to even make a gesture of issuing a letter of support without that general or special election is just really a slap in the face to voters.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you and thank everyone on the ground there who, has rushed to put a stop to this because, unfortunately, that's kind of the last measure people have when their government's running roughshod over the laws they've written, over the laws that have been written at the state level, is the legal recourse and to file a lawsuit. So I want to thank you for what you're doing there and keep us updated. I know this will be a big story over the next few weeks, I'm sure, especially as the transition of power comes as well there in Polk County. So keep us updated. And what can people do? Is there anything they can do right now to kind of get involved in this, stay up to date on this?
Well, if they live in Polk County, Jim Gibson is still their county judge until the end of the year. They're welcome to make their voice heard with him. Let him know that, A, he needs to follow the ordinance, and B, if that letter is not a letter of support, he should make that clear for everybody's benefit.
Yeah. Well, I'll give the phone numbers right here on this letter. Phone number, Jim Ed Gibson, Polk County Judge, 479-968-7487. So if the residents of Polk County listen there on KRV there in the River Valley area, if they want to reach out to their current Polk County Judge, Jim Ed Gibson, they can call him at 479-968-7487. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I'm kind of on late notice and getting us up to date on this, and for the work you're doing this, I'll give you the last word.
Thanks, Josh. I appreciate the opportunity to keep everybody abreast of what's going on, and I just want to say that, when stuff like this happens, it makes you just really grateful for the rule of law.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Anna, you have a great weekend and a happy new year, and we'll stay in contact and make sure we get updates from you and get it out there to the people to know what these politicians are doing in their name. And so, Anna, thank you again for coming on this morning.
Thanks for having me, Josh. Bye-bye.
All right, that was Anna Stieritz, an attorney from the Russellville area, detailing us on what is going on in Polk County.